Great. Okay, I'll call to order this meeting of the Finance Committee, Central Midland Regional Transit Authority, Wednesday, November 13th. It's just after 10 a.m. There is a quorum, presence of Mr. Barnwell, Dr. Morris, and myself. So I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Motion to consider the minutes.
So moved. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Mr. Smith,
Yes.
so Dr. Morris brought it to my attention. There are there's some corrections that need to be made to the minutes.
Okay.
There are a couple of motions where I have Dr. Morris's name, and it should be Mr. Barnwell because Dr. Morris was not present at the last meeting.
Okay. So do you have all those identified?
Yes.
All right. So do we want to, can we just sort of motion to the action?
I'm in the motion
Okay.
to indicate with the necessary correction.
Okay. Excellent.
You have second?
You accept that in a second?
So we on a second.
Okay. Now, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, so item number 4, matters referred to the board. Anything current?
No, sir, it's not beyond the retirement policy. I did reach out to a few, seems nobody has one. So I guess at this point, it's what do we want to do?
Okay.
Which, it was just a lovely thought, nothing we have to do, must do. We can join forces and also not offer one or something amended.
Out to other
Translate, yeah.
Okay. But it feels like a loose end, so I don't want to leave it. Just leave it. But I think maybe we should agendize it at some point in the future.
Okay.
And maybe you and I talk about that.
Okay.
All right. So item number 5, monthly financial reports. Sandy.
Good morning again. I'd like to call your attention beginning at page 7. It's a summary of our highlights of where we are for the quarter end of September 2024. Of course, this brings us to 25% complete of our fiscal year. We finished with a net income of roughly $185,000. We had total revenue for the period of $2.74 million. This represents about 9% of our annual budget. Total expenses are $2.8 million. This is 19% of our annual budget. Paid today to contract operators, $81 million. That next section lists out those professional contract services, certain expenses we paid, and you guys wanted to see what we pay in that month. Those with the asterisks have invoices included in the package. We have no new PAC donations for this period. Our total revenue still stands the same. We're about 75% of total collections. I just billed Richland County another $6.8 million. So that check should be coming in here soon. And that is the end of my report.
Okay. Questions for Sandy?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I have a concern, page 8. I noticed that correct me if I'm wrong, but I noticed that Optus Bank, the yield, so the interest on our funds is closer to 0%. Whereas from the Security Federal Bank, the state, it is a little over 5%. That's a major discrepancy there. And we need to meet with Optus Bank, if I'm correct, and find out whether or not they can do better than that, close to 0, and then we get 5% from state federal. At least we should get 4% from them. And I'm concerned about that.
So just to point out, it's the local government investment pool that you're referring to, where there's 18 million and 20 million. That's where we get that high return.
Yes.
So I don't think anybody can do as great as them. But in the recent turn of our CDs maturing, this lovely man here has been telling them we need more. So they have been upping their percents. The most recently was like 3.5%. So we are getting anywhere from 3.5 to 4% now.
Okay, as it went.
Within the past year.
Okay, because I didn't see that in my,
So the
Man.
CD, what you see here is our regular, where we just deposit money, and that one, I guess we could get with them on that to see if we can increase. But the CDs, you get that interest after it matures.
okay. I'm glad that Mr. Pearl is on top of this, but I would hope that at our next board, at our next finance committee meeting, you would come back with some different figures. And you know,
We'll definitely reach out to them.
let us know the latest report. If it's 3 or 4%, then you know that's a different story as opposed to almost 0%. Thank you.
Good. Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes.
The most recent was 3.5%. The prior ones were 4%, 4.5%. And that's been in line with, and we called them out on it a couple of times that rate is too low, and we sent them some other figures that we're seeing in the state. So then after we do that, it gets increased. So the lowest that we're looking at is 3.5%, and that's just because it's went down some, but they are at about 4 to 4.5% on the renewals that we've been getting.
I'm glad to hear that, and keep us abreast of you know, on a monthly basis of how they're doing. Thank you.
And just for a point of clarification, final question, is the full amount that's designated as Optus on this sheet? So I'm looking at page 8. Is that what's in CDs? Or is that?
The 2 million is, the 4 million is what's sitting in our operating reserve
Gotcha.
account, and that's the one he's referring to, but you can see, we can go back. This is the one we deposit our advertising revenue, which is on page 19. We deposit our advertising revenue into that, so we can go back to them. That one has a low yield as well, so we can go back to them on that one and see if they can increase the interest rate on that one.
Okay.
Like I say, as well as us telling them, hey, in the CDs as they mature, can we get a high interest rate?
And then is there a
I just hope we're more demanding than seeing whether.
Yes.
We do.
Okay, thank you.
We let them know what we find, because we do the research on what other banks are providing, and then we provide that to them, and then it goes up. So we do demand that we get a better interest rate.
Good, thank you.
Sir.
And then on the operating account, sweep account, is there like obviously overnight sweep with some interest on that? That's
With security better?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. A lot more opportunities than it used to be.
Yes.
Return on reserves. Okay, thanks, Dr. Morris. Question. Any other questions for Roz on the monthly quarter end report?
Just one last. And the actual year to date, is that calendar year? Just confirming.
Our fiscal year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So discussion items. We got DD report from Dr. Trent.
Good morning. The DD report pages 44 through 47, the finance packet. On pages 44 through 45 is just a quick snapshot of how the DD goes. On page 44, it reflects data as of September 30th. And it reflects that we paid approximately $88.4 million to the CPD goals. And of this amount, DBs received approximately 21.6%, which equates to approximately 24.5%. And I just want to point out that we are, when it comes to our overall goal, we are a little bit less than the 25%. Like that 24.5%. But one of our DBE firms, ended their contract, they were providing bus shelters and benches. But a new DBE replacement is underway, and so we should see future bills from them going forward. And also on page 46 is data relevant to our contract already data and their payments to DBE firms, and reflects data on a cumulative basis, and it shows that as of September 30th, they had paid approximately $17.2 million, which equates to 21.1% of their goal. So they're still within the 20% goal that end of the year. This ends the DB report unless there are questions.
Questions for Dr. Prince? All right. Very good. Okay, next item is quarterly grants reporting from Jill.
If you'll turn to page 48, that's the start of the grant spreadsheet. This is something I keep just so we have a running total for each grant, how much is spent, how much is remaining, both federal, local, and total. If you look in the left-hand column, that's the grant name or the grant number. The line item description is 2 over. That's pretty much what that money is limited to. We can only do what that says with that money without doing a grant amendment or a grant revision. These grants that you see, most of them have more than the line items that are left, but as the line item is fully expended, I drop it off the page because there's no more money for that. As you can see, in a lot of the grants we have been putting aside money for new vehicles. That was so we didn't have to buy all of them at one time. We can start feeding them through, and I think we're at the point now where we're starting that process. So a lot of that money will get eaten up once the vehicle gets here. There's also some, for example, the employee education and training, that's on like the 4th one down. That's an ongoing. We don't expect to spend $112,000 federal dollars in a year, but over 4 or 5 years, maybe. So don't think that all of these funds you're seeing are going to be expended in this fiscal year, because they're not. If you turn to page 49, there is one grant for, let's see, it's the FY 2018 apportionment of 5307. It shows replacement vehicles, trolleys. If you'll recall, many years ago, we were wanting to do trolleys. That we are gonna hopefully get a grant amendment rather than a grant, or a grant revision rather than an amendment, to put that towards what is already existing in that grant, which is 35-foot buses, or for paratransit vehicles, depending on the need. And I want to rain on Margaret's parade. Actually, I'm not. I'm just going to steal a little thunder from her. If you look at page 50, you'll see that there is a line item a little bit lower down than the middle called shop equipment. Funds in that grant. Now, if you'll notice, this is 100% funding. This is some of the money that came as a stimulus because of COVID. So there's no match requirement for that. And that includes purchase of shop equipment such as lifts, garage doors, hose reels, things like that. And then whatever is remaining can also go towards any future needs in the shop. And that whole grant is 100% which makes me do the happy dance. But anyway, that's all I've got. You got any questions?
Questions? Yep.
Mr. Nurse, if, the Fed said no to trolley funds being transferred, what would be the result?
Typically, they'll allow it within the grant, and if you notice, there's a bus line item. So I don't think there would be any problem moving it to the buses. They may have an issue with us trying for paratransit. But usually the newer the grant, the more likely they're gonna give us a little wiggle room, but we're gonna spend it on vehicles no matter what.
All right, thank you.
And also the question, none of these grants are set to expire this year.
No, that's the thing with the grants. As long as we're actively drawing down, feds are fine.
Okay.
It's when a grant sits there for years and isn't touched that they have issues and think that we're not spending the money. There are a couple of vehicle ones, but when I applied for that money, I told them we wouldn't be using it for years. And so the expiration date that was plugged into the grant application is much longer than usual.
How often do you have to report to them on these funds?
Quarterly for each grant, for each line item.
Yes, like-
I love it.
Any other questions for Rochelle? Thank you for your heart. I can attest that my spreadsheet's maybe like one line. But just what little I do in the way of trying to manage, federal dollars, and it's a lot. So thank you for your work. So obviously a big part of our ability to operate is leveraging those federal dollars for capital in particular. A lot of planning and a lot of hard work. Thank you. And to our finance staff, because I know it's a team effort. Any other questions?
One more. I did have a question about the replacement for the battery electric bus. Does that include the equipment if we were to actually do that also?
Are you looking at that 100% grant we were just talking about? All of the shaded in area for that grant is the overages for the low-no grant.
Okay.
So we're not getting anything additional. We're just trying to pay for what we got, because between the time we applied for the grant, COVID happened, everything went kablooey, everything pretty much doubled in price. And so in order to get anything done worthwhile, we had to also supplement some of those funds. So we are getting the infrastructure along with the buses.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Chair, to Mr. Pearl, do we have the stations, electric bus stations, and where are they? If we do, where are they located?
We do have the plugins where we charge them at. They are located at the end of this facility in the enclosed bay. There are two separate locations out there where the buses come in and they're charged.
Okay.
And then for hydrogen, it's all the way back at the end of the bus yard where they'll be filled out.
Thank you.
So.
Any other questions? All right, so hearing none, on to item number 7, action items, couple of purchase proposals. So that's going to be Margaret.
I will be talking about the purchases for bus lifts, the purchase of bus lifts and new garage bay doors. They can be found on pages 52, 61 for the bus lifts, pages 62 to 64 for the garage doors. The bus lifts that we currently have, I believe, was installed in 2008. And that's an in-ground lift. They have had an operational mechanism problems with repair because of the age of it. And, I believe, correct me, Mr. Earl, I'm misspeaking, but some of the, safety standards that are current are not built into that old equipment. So RATP Dev has requested that we procure more bus lifts and not in-ground, but the mobile lifts. And there'll be two sets of bus lifts. These items are on state contract, so there will not be a need for solicitation. It is a considerable discount. I believe it's 30-some% discount off list. It meets Buy America and all the other federal requirements, because as Ms. Ransom mentioned earlier, it will be paid for with federal funds,
100%.
100%.
Right away.
Right. My question is, does this need to go as a recommendation of the board?
Yes.
Yes, so that it would be in the form of a recommendation.
$2. It's over 100.
Yeah, right. So if you take them separately, we maybe two separate motions to recommend these two purchases.
Okay.
I'll entertain those motions.
Broken down.
I think so. Unless there are any other questions.
I make a motion that we recommend to the board that we pass these two articles, well, one at a time. At our next board meeting.
Okay, so motion to purchase the new bus lifts as discussed. Is that what I've heard?
A second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion about bus lifts? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Unanimous. Okay, so second item, new garage doors. Your motion? Nope. We haven't discussed it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The bus doors are original, and the shop has experienced some issues with it when they're high winds. The doors we currently have are not wind shear doors. During Hurricane Helene, one door was actually almost crumbled from the storm. So we had to have a temporary repair of that door. And it was recommended that we replace all of those doors and replace them with wind shear doors that will be more wind resistant. Because they said even during March, the doors have a tendency to shake from the wind. So these and the design of the new units should be able to take higher winds without possibly causing any injuries. But like the lifts, they are Buy America, meet the Buy America and the steel requirements. And we will obtain them from a local vendor to install them and recommend the approval of the garage doors. Are there any questions?
Are these statewide term contract items?
The garage doors, are they on state contract?
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Okay.
they're not.
Go through our procurement process to identify the vendor.
Garage doors, commercial garage doors can be a bit of a challenge to get close. And in that regional, it's a different niche from residential garage doors. So you shrink the pool of available contractors who can even bid on it. We had some others that wanted to shade the actual concrete blocks so that their doors would fit, because the size was an issue. And actually, this advanced door was the only system that could use the original space and not make any structural changes, which we had some concerns about. Would it affect the integrity of the building if we had some of that concrete block taped off a couple of inches?
Okay. It's really the only vendor that a reasonable set of specs could do what we. Okay. So then, did you say the funding? If this is
The
part of this?
funding is also from the same grant as the lifts, so it will be 100% federal funds.
Right. So any further questions or comments? Committee or
Yeah, I make a motion, I move that, the finance committee, recommend to the board to purchase the support stand.
got a motion here, a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous as well. Okay, good, thank you. All right, so just privilege as chair, I'd like to go back briefly to discussion items if I may, and just note the recent election, the passage of the penny, and the impact that has on our ability to function as we have, the last over a decade. So I think the passage was 60-some percent, 61%. 62. So excellent news, of course, for us, and I think that's indicative of at least in part, the comment's ability to demonstrate to the public our value and our our financial leadership and operational leadership. So kudos to the staff, and then comment from Mr. Pearl or staff.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and we are excited that it obviously passed, just for the comment as well, and for the roads that we travel on. We travel on a lot of the roads, so to have those upgraded, have those updated is beneficial for us as well, and for us to be able to continue to operate as we do and enhance our route service to the communities that we need to, and we're really excited about that and look forward to getting started on that as quickly as we can.
And a reminder of the timeline. The current penny will continue until it's exhausted,
Which is estimated to be at the end of 26. And then the continuation of the penny will begin after the collection.
Good. Okay. Any questions or comments?
I would just like to thank Mr. Pearl for sharing with us the conditions of the roads in Columbia and Richland County and Lexington. Do we have any problems now with roads?
Not that I'm aware of from operations standpoint. I think it just enhances the safety of the roads as they look at enhancing. But
there's a couple of repairs due to the last hurricane
Yes.
and like certain areas that they're working on.
Okay.
And it affects our bus route. So our contract was able to do the proper detours of the routes. So
Thank you.
To go back and, because I forgot to say or put in the packet, but we did receive our next certificate of achievement from GFOA for our fiscal year 2023 audit.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations. I apologize for missing that. I actually thought about it. I forgot. So that is,
Said something,
Yeah.
I kept forgetting to. So yes, we did receive our next medallion and our next certificate.
excellent. Very worthy compliment. And that would be for the fiscal 23
Yes.
audit,
Yes.
currently under fiscal 24
Correct.
audit.
Yes.
Very, very strong performance from our finance. I think that, as I alluded to earlier, I think, these things are related. So demonstrating good management of financial house of our grants, good leveraging of federal dollars, all those things play into, successful demonstration to the public that, penny needs to be passed and that sort of thing. So good work by our staff.
Put in a lot of hours, a lot of extra time, going to the library. So man, this final read was extremely beneficial in securing those and talking to the public as well. Appreciate everybody's input, and we had staff show up to a couple of meetings as well. So that was really helpful to have staff there and support.
Indeed. Thank you. Any other thoughts, comments from committee?
I just had a final question back to Ms. Woodson. Is there anything additional that the contractor has identified potentially to use any of the existing or remaining funds for the grant? Any other equipment that they think they may want to purchase potentially?
Yeah, they listed some, like their wish list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had this, but
Next month. Oh, they want some additional fans in the maintenance shop. I mean, nothing here is terribly unreasonable. At all unreasonable. Hose reel maintenance, we know that the reels with the oil and the fluids is all up top and you pull it down to do your maintenance. That's gonna wear out. It just is. And there's a need for some work on that as well. And that, to be honest, might take us to zero on that line item. But if it doesn't, we'll, or when I say we, it will be discussed on whether it's a legitimate purchase or not.
Okay. Thank you.
And Madge, Mr. Chairman, for maintenance, their main concern is going to be vehicles. So the sooner we get newer vehicles in there to start the aging fleet, the better off that they're going to be to manage that as well. So their wish list goes from the maintenance side back here, but also the equipment side as well.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
And Roz wanted me to note that we also have the funds to replace our bus washer. It's been giving us headaches since day one. It's been repaired and repaired and repaired. So we've got the money now to do a replacement.
Good. Sounds good.
Good. Anything else on the either discussion items or action items? Questions about those? Okay. I don't think there's anything for executive session. So I guess the last item is to consider adjourning.
Good one.
Second. Second. Or adjourn. Thank you.